So basically there are these little bug gods that like protected Earth along with these 5 chosen warriors, and now they're not asleep anymore, conveniently, in time for us to watch the show. Ain't that insane, man? How that shit works? Everything's on a 2,000, 3,000 year timer in Sentai and Power Rangers. It's fucking crazy. I don't know how they're able to time that shit. And every year like that too, it's wild. This place is fucking infested! Nasty ass Kingohgers living with all these goddamn bugs and shit. God damn, they know how to turn up though. It's too soon, man. You guys can't be going around talking about festivals and shit. It's too goddamn soon. I'm not ready for that. Don't just stop. I'm not ready for that. Stop it. Alright, so we got a sketchy dude explaining his evil schemes. I presume he's up to no good. Only because we didn't see his face. I don't know. That's bad bitch mentality right there. That's a mentality of a bad bitch. Oh, and we got the insect in the back. I didn't even know he was there. Who the fuck composed this soundtrack? This shit is incredible. I love this jacket, by the way. I know I talked shit about it before. It's a nice looking jacket, though. It's too fucking soon. All I'm saying is, you see this many chains hanging from a ceiling like that, it's probably something that shouldn't be talked about on YouTube in front of kids. This is for the oldie fans. They are my favorite. I saw someone post their face on Twitter, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little upset. Like, half of the coolness of it is that you can't see their face. So the fact that like I can see I know what they look like underneath that mask, it kind of frustrates me. I'm not gonna lie, because I really didn't want to know. I really did not want to know, because that's part of the mystery of it. That's like what makes them so cool. But like, yeah, they're my favorite. They are absolutely my favorite so far. So it seems like all the Kingohgers have like little buddies, like little escorts that like pal around with them, which is gonna make the cast feel a lot less lonely, I feel like, considering that they're all supposed to be sort of like sectioned off into like their own little groups and whatnot. The fact that they have their own little friends, I think is gonna be really important for the show, because then they'll be able to like interact with someone. I think that's kind of what they're going for here. So they all pull up on their little critter friends, which admittedly is kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. The CGI is not that bad here. Like, that's really good. That's really good for Toei. That's really good for Toei. Like, the shading specifically. Like, they have this weird problem with like lighting, and like this is really well done. They didn't have to show the feet, man. Not the feet, bro. Toei has no clue what the fuck they just did releasing this image. They have no clue what they did. They don't know. They don't know. There's a 7-year-old in Japan who just discovered something. I'm not gonna lie, the CGI is really good here. Like, the green screen background effects. I know they got like Sony to do some like LED stuff for the show, and it looks really good. I also really like how each of them kind of carries their sword in a different way. I didn't realize this like initially, but like they have their sword on their back, and then like homegirl's homeboy is like carrying it for them. Blue, he has like the hilt. Like, it's kind of cool. It adds personality, man. There's a lot of personality to these characters already in the first like 5 minutes. It's solid. She's a bad bitch, and she knows it. I'm not even saying that in any sort of weird type of way. Like, that's just cool. That's tough as hell. Like, that line was tough as hell. That's 2 Yellow Rangers in a row that are actually good characters. It's not every day you see that. That's crazy. Yellow and purple might be my favorite so far. I'm just saying. So immediately we're introduced to what I think is our Red Ranger, like playing with a bunch of little kids. And it's a really dope scene, like in terms of like getting a gist for his personality, because it kind of shows him to be like that sort of normal Toku main character. You know, he hangs out with kids. He does it for the kids, man. Like, that's why he's here. He's here for the kids, the youths. And also, I just realized, I think it's because all like the background shots or whatever you call them, like, this isn't modern Japan. I think it's like a parallel dimension type beat they got going on here, and it's really dope. I don't think Sentai's really done this before, unless you want to count like Zenkaiger or Q Ranger, where it's like an alternate reality that is sort of parallel to ours. It's like if Ginga Man never left the forest, which is a really sick premise for a universe and a show like that. They're orphans? That's even sweeter. That's even sweeter. Because he's not just doing it for the kids, he's doing it for the parentless kids. Don't laugh at that. Don't laugh at orphans aren't funny. He's a little too handsy with that kid. That's a whole ass another Sentai team right there. Look at him. Dude's name Rascal. Rascal Husty. So it looks like Blue's edgy. He's like this edgy, like, I could do it better type character. I'm gonna get sick of this shtick real quick. I could just tell. Everything about him I just don't really vibe with. I can't respect a person who wears headphones like that. I just can't. I just don't have it in me. I'm sorry. So far, I'd probably say he's my least favorite. So it looks like there's some actual politics going on in the show. I'm not gonna sit here and actually explain it to you, because if I'm being entirely honest, I don't care to know it too much myself. But it seems like there's this power imbalance between blue and red, and there's this whole thing going on. Also, I paused at this really cool screen. This is a really cool shot. Feel free to screenshot it. That shot just gave me the heebie-jeebies. Oh god. That was vile. I just noticed the Attack on Titan shit in the back. I just noticed the big dudes in the background. What is the budget for this show? What is the budget for this show? That was a... These shots are crazy, dude! These shots are crazy! How are they doing this? So now that the big threat has arrived, we see my 3 favorite characters do their henshin sequence, and it's really sweet. They get like this sort of like honeycomb crystal, and then like their shoe god beast kind of right through it. That's a sick transformation. I do wonder how it's gonna look later on, because typically Sentai has like green screen transformation, so that they kind of can do it whenever, wherever. I guess one questioning is how long we're gonna have the show structured like this, where it's clearly a lot of green screen being used, and also having like the CGI thing crash through it. Like they gotta have one pre-recorded at some point, right? Also, thing to point out is that I didn't care for the suits, but now that I kind of see them in action, I really do kind of like them. Black's visor still bugs me, no pun intended. A lot of the suits use the bug itself as the visor, whereas Black has the bug on the helmet and it uses the negative space to create the visor, and that bothers me a lot. It really bothers me. But also then you don't get the bumblebee mouthpiece, so like, is it worth it? The CGI explosions aren't all that great, but a lot of the like real explosions that are like actual practical effects look really good and are really well done. Bro, this show is not filmed like a Sentai. This is just not filmed like a Sentai. Like, these cameras are too good. It's not filmed like any Toku. Toei has one successful Sentai in a fucking decade, and they say, fuck it. We're upping the budget exponentially for Kingohger. That's crazy. Like, these cameras are crazy. The green screen and CGI is crazy. DonBrothers did wonders for Sentai. I promise you. If Kingohger is successful, the next Sentai is gonna be... It's too early to talk about the next Sentai, but the next Sentai is gonna be absolutely, like, out of this world. It's gonna be filmed in 12K. You're gonna have, like, 2.5D smell-o-vision coming out the screen. Like, they're gonna have to subtitle the sense. It's gonna be insane, man. Who let him in the castle like that? Who, like, how can he just enter the castle? I'm so unsubverted now. I totally believed everything happening with these giant fucking robot insects flying around. But now, now that you just had let the one guy walk into a room without any sort of questions, that... Okay, so that's actually really interesting because I see both sides. I can see why our main character would be upset, but I could also see, like, in terms of the thought process, why this is smart. This is politics. He's not... It's the greater means sort of type of deal here, where it's like, we're not worried about the people. We are worried about the people, but we need to sacrifice a certain number of people if it means that the whole kingdom can unite and collectively. But is it a... This is a kid show. This is a kid show. This is a kid show. This isn't. This is a kid show. But do they really want you to buy that little shield slicer bit? These fight scenes are crazy. Yeah, I kind of bit the bullet on that one, huh? Yeah, just ignore all that other shit I said. This guy's a piece of shit, but he's entertaining to watch, so I'm not mad at him. I am mad. He's not real, but I am mad at him. That was kind of tough as fuck. He might be my actual favorite character. So homeboy just jacked his sword. That's sweet. This shot is actually really powerful. There's some emotions going on. There's acting. These are actors. We have actors! We have actors! These are actors! This is an actor! He's an actor! I really like this team. I really like this team. I really like all the characters. I really like all the characters. That's a dope line. Like, okay, if that's what's right, then I'll be the villain. Fuck it. I'm the bad guy.
I'm the bad guy. Duh.
I don't know how I feel about the sword being a bobbit. It's kind of cool in terms of like the toyeticness of it, but at the same time, it's like, this is a long ass henshin sequence. We could just skip a few steps. If you could just, and that's your insect. Just hit yours, and then we're done. We could just, we just let everyone else do the rest. Like, you don't need to do everything else, I feel like. Okay, so this is actually really cool because I think the robot suit is actually like a legit prop. From what I understand, it's like a thing that's made by like a robotics company in Japan. I don't know too much about it, but it's really neat that like whoever saw that and was like, yeah man, we need that. I don't know how I feel about the mecha this season. I really don't, because on the one hand, like, I do like how we're in this new era of more articulated mecha, but on the other hand, it's like there's 10 pieces and purple and blue are relegated to a sword. You know what I mean? Like, why is there a ladybug on this arm? Who put the ant on the sword? Like, why do you need the ant there? You know, like, imagine if, like, I know I said this before, but imagine if the purple piece was the chest piece. Like, I don't know. Like, there's just a lot of extra bits happening that I don't know if I'm particularly fond of. But also seeing this in action, I think it kind of looks... This is always what happens, man. I'm always like, oh man, I don't really care for it in the scans. And then I see it in person and I'm like, wow. I really want that. Are those actual miniatures? Hold up. Is that a miniature fruit stand? You see this? That's a miniature fruit stand right there. They are not going to be able to pay for the rest of this show. They're not. They can't. That's like an Ultraman thing, dude. They don't make them like they used to anymore. I tell you what, Toei does not. They don't make miniatures like that, man. They cannot pay for the rest of the show. They just can't. They're not going to afford it. The fucking second half of Superhero Time is going to be reruns of Robotech. Not because of the show failed, but because they literally just can't afford Kingohger.